Welcome to the Firearms Insider Gun and Gear Review Podcast, episode 274. On this show, we showcase gun reviews, gear, and anything else a gun enthusiast may be looking for. We strive to evaluate products from an unbiased and honest perspective. I'm your host, Chad Wallace from the Firearms Radio Network, your source for all things firearms related. In this show, we'll be discussing the Tack 9, Timber Creek butt plate stock, and Grey Ghost AR build combo. So tonight on the podcast, we have our future, past, whatever we want to say, co-host Ryan from Grey Ghost Precision and Tactical Tailor and everywhere else. Plus Tony, Zane, Rob, and Sean is joining us from Black Bag Resources again. So, since I'm going to go first with what I did in firearms, which is I went to a gun show and bought a charging handle. That's pretty much it. So let's see. Who wants to go first?
Well, you went first, so who'd go second?
Whatever. I don't count, though, remember?
You're right. Nobody cares about you, Chad.
Exactly.
I was going to go to the gun range this weekend until we had an issue at work, and I had to wind up working most of the weekend, so that kind of sucked. So it's either go to gun range or keep job. I decided keeping my job would be the least worst of those two options.
Yeah.
So I didn't do a whole lot this weekend or since last week.
Yeah. Sean, did you do anything cool?
Some stuff I did was cool. Some stuff I did was very uncool. If you guys are following the news, the officer who was shot down in Baltimore County is a good friend of mine. So I've been trying to do what I can from here to help her out. Put together a small fundraiser. Sunday, my 4-year-old decided he wanted to play Nerf, so I took that as an opportunity to sneak in some firearms training with him using the Nerf stuff. And I got to tell you, it puts a smile on my face every time I just think about him using the phrase "Tato reload, Daddy. I'm doing my Tato reload."
Nice.
Yeah, just a magical experience, and every part, the best portion of being a father is getting to corrupt him like that.
Nice.
So yeah, fun stuff and not fun stuff, but
yeah. Well, I hope your friend's doing good, and that's a noble cause you're trying to raise money for.
She's doing really well, all things considered, and I appreciate it.
Tony.
I can't wait for Zane's adopted Asian kid to scream, "Reduce recoil, Daddy, reduce recoil."
Oh no!
with him and his partner.
Man,
Hilarious.
Ooh,
so much for Tony going
cool.
back to his corner and eating popcorn and watching the sparks go off, right?
Hilarious.
So what'd you do, Tony?
I had wow. I participated in the Chris Koster Carbine Element Theory 1 class. It was a 2,000 round 3-day class, rifle class. It was fun. Chris Koster's a cool dude. Nice guy. Helped me out a couple of things that had nothing to do with the class, actually. But it was cool. It was fun. You should, if you like training and want to train with somebody who has his reputation, it's worth taking. Sadly, Jersey, anything fun in Second Amendment makes it rain. I don't know what kind of curse that is, but anytime Second Amendment people get together and try to have fun, it rains. So third day pretty much got rained out. We got half a day on the range with that. And it was fun. I recommend it just for the experience alone, if nothing else. And plus, there was a lot of cool gun handling. There was stuff you can pick up, and you get a cool challenge coin. I'll show it to everybody real quick, and that's what I did in guns this week. Oh, and I got to try out, of course, the Modern Materials Matte Mod Ace. That's a 16-inch rifle, all kinds of cool stuff. I'm actually going to be doing a review on it for Firearms Insider. So you guys can see, I took a bunch of pictures of it. You can probably see it on my Instagram, Simon Says Train. So you could look at the cool rifle. It worked. It was really accurate. And it's made in Jersey. So buy one just to say F you to that bucktooth governor we have.
Woohoo. Zane, you can go next. We'll save Ryan for last because, he kind of works in the industry.
Yeah. So I was extra douchey on the interwebs this week. I'm not sure why. I know. Been trying to tone that down, but I couldn't do it this week. I did make it out of the range, shot a couple B8s, because I've been shooting a lot of dot torture up close, so I figured I'd push it back to 25. That's yards, not feet. And, see what I could do. Shot a 92, with the carry gun from the carry holster with carry ammo, so that's not terrible, but not. There were a couple rounds in the 8 ring, and I don't like to see things in the 8 ring, but whatever. That's about it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, our special guest tonight, what did you do?
I did go shooting. It was a little bit short-lived, though. I got there early ahead of the party that was going to meet me there, me and my wife, and it was mostly just a zeroing day, and then do some cobweb stuff with the pistols, just going through some of your old carry ammo and doing a couple of small minor drills. So I did my zeroing with my my Remington 700 at 308 suppressed. Just made sure that my windage was basically right on. You leave it in the safe for a while, it kind of gets bumped up against other guns. Maybe you pull it out and the turrets get knocked. So it was just off by 1 MOA left. So moved that over, then shot my Savage 22-250 suppressed also. And then after everyone showed up, and then we actually started shooting loud guns. There were a lot of GGP rifles there, SBRs with the GGP muzzle brakes on there. It was a lot louder than what I had been doing in the previous hour. So we had some DNR people come up and tell us that we couldn't shoot for whatever reason, even though that's like the go-to place to shoot in that area. So it was kind of cut short because they were, calling the authorities and blah, blah, blah. So thought I'd get out of there. I ain't going back to jail. I ain't doing it. I can't go back to DNR prison.
I'm too pretty for jail. I ain't going to jail.
Yeah, they like him.
Yeah, so that's pretty much what it was. I did shoot my my Grey Ghost Precision Rainier Arms exclusive slide that at the Gen 4 slide. So I had a Nomad Defense frame, so obviously Gen 4 frame. I actually have a Gen 4 build with a little bit of GGP DNA on there. So I got to shoot that a little bit more, getting used to the I swapped red dots. So I went from a constant on to just an RMR type 2. And then I swapped my iron sights to suppressor height sights, which is good because my RMR died that day. So I did get to use my irons because, sure enough, the backup was needed.
Yep. I'm going to ask you how you like that frame.
I like it as far as like the grip, the ergonomics. The only thing that I don't care for is they added some shelves on the left and right hand side, depending on if you're lefty or righty, for your support hand thumb. And the texture they put on there just doesn't do crap for friction. So you find your thumb slipping off that ledge a lot easier than if you were just to rest it like on your slide stop, even though you shouldn't be resting your thumb there. So I just wish that if they were going to go through the trouble of giving you like a little, spot for you to put your support thumb, make it a little bit more aggressive. More times I just cant it off to the side. I don't put it on the slide at all, or on the frame, I should say. But as far as the grip itself, it's awesome. The undercut on the trigger guard could be a little bit more aggressive. I did put a CMC flat face trigger in it, and which required some minute sanding of the inside of the trigger guard, just so that flat face trigger can come all the way back and that have that that hinged safety kind of become disengaged when you pull it back. It'd kind of get pinned a little bit, and you could keep going and it would eventually break, but it was obviously causing some binding, I guess is the word you call it.
Well, that's interesting.
So
yeah,
I do more shooting now, which is great.
Yeah, it's amazing. I thought once you got a job in this industry, you stopped shooting. That's what I heard.
You do have to work harder at it and find justifications. We do the photos and the videos, so usually it's like we're gonna go shooting, and we're gonna shoot video, and just as an excuse to get out and go shoot, but we're also trying to be productive and bring some return back to the office as far as the media department goes. So it's kind of an excuse to go shooting, so you end up shooting more. but then you also just end up working more. So
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah, you're calling that work? Come on, give me a break.
It's work. I guess we'll move into the announcements. Bandwidth sponsor is still Patriot Patch Co. And, we have right here the patch designer, Mr. Ryan Cross. So go check him out for pre-order patches and new patches. Ryan might even give us a hint as to what's to come, but I don't know.
Oh, I could. Well, we just dropped the did we drop the new June patch? No, we dropped the May patch recently.
May patch.
Yeah, so it's the
all.
Yeah, so it's the Memorial Day patch. I do want to apologize to the one Army chaplain that emailed me personally to let me know that I put the boots on backwards, and that the dog the dog tags should not be hanging from the grip. I'm sorry, man. I'm not in the Army, so I didn't make it absolutely to code. But it is a nice looking patch, and it means a lot to a lot of people. So
yeah, I got it, and when I saw it before I got it, it's actually one of my favorite patches.
Thank you.
Yeah, it really is. It's it has meaning behind it to people. So
because I love you guys, I'll throw you a bone here and let you know a little teaser. Obviously, June is coming up, the next patch of the month. And I always like to do something 4th of July fireworks themed in June. That way you're sure to have it in the time the 4th rolls around. Because sometimes you don't get your patches till like the 10th of the month. So if I did something 4th of July related for July, you wouldn't have it until 6 days after the holiday passed. So you're going to get something fireworks related, but we kicked up a lot this year. If you're a child of the 80s, perhaps, and you played with some, let's say, some homebrew fireworks, you'll be a fan of the patch of the month for next month.
Awesome.
And you heard it here first.
What's that?
I'm laughing to make my 4-year-old cry again. Is this going to be like the pumpkin patch that like I had to explain to him? No, it's okay to shoot the pumpkin.
No, but like you're going to have to keep a close eye on your tennis balls because he'll be cutting tennis balls and filling them with propellant, and you'll have to put a stop to that.
Nice.
Oh, okay. Because I was thinking it was going to be like Green Army men attached to a firework.
That might be next year's, actually. That's a good idea.
I'm going to have an upset 4-year-old about why are we blowing up G.I. Joes? I love my G.I. Joes, Daddy.
That's right. So you can use our GunTech affiliate link if you want to get some AR parts, or you can always go check out Ryan for high quality AR parts. Check out Gunstreamer for firearms content, videos, etc. If you're shopping Amazon, please use our affiliate link at firearmsradio.tv/Amazon. And if you're shopping Black Bag Resources, I'm waiting for the applause or something, and you want to donate to Tony, use the code 2A4E, and all the stuff in your cart will be donated to Tony.
Woo! Yay! Woo!
A2 grips. Get your A2 grips, folks, right here.
God. Get them on the hot. Get them on the hot.
Word.
I'm doing something with A2 grips. You just wait.
Ryan, I had every intention of bringing that A2 pistol grip back to you, Ryan, except Tony took it and wouldn't give it up.
Oh, I stuck the thing right in my pocket. Like, of course you're giving me stuff. That's why I'm here.
So
nice.
I'm on the show today because quite a few of you visited my NRA booth. So I feel like I'm returning the favor. But yeah, that was hilarious. Sean actually came to the Gregos Precision NRA booth with an A2 grip in hand and asked me, "Sir, did you drop this?" Hilarious.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Rob, since you're here this week.
I was here last week. Yeah, this week. What's your point?
You're not going to be here next week.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You'll forgive me, or you'll fire me, one of the two, or cut my pay.
Yeah, that's it. I'll just have Zane read it.
Oh, okay.
Let me tell you about being fired on this show.
The views and opinions expressed in this podcast are those of the individual co-hosts and do not reflect the official policy or position of the Firearms Radio Network and or their employers. Viewer discretion is advised. This is especially true on live shows, more so when we have returning ex-co-hosts.
Well, I was going
And
to say
now-
that's new. I don't remember that disclaimer.
Yeah,
being
this is what happens when Jake
Yeah, that's
sells the
because I
network
was on
to
the
a
show.
big
No,
conglomerate.
it's what happens when we get all you yahoos on here and you start cussing when you get angry.
No,
This
listen,
this is
Joel.
what happens when you sell it to a big conglomerate.
I'm
I
pretty
know.
sure.
I think
I'm
it's
at
the
least-
law offices of Sean, Aaron, and they're the ones that are making you say that now, huh?
They didn't
Yeah,
make us. We just threw it in there.
I'm pretty sure I'm at least partially to blame for that.
Yeah. Okay.
Florida,
Now,
Florida
for you
man
guys,
got a couple 6-packs in a natty light, and all of a sudden
Only
we
a
have to read
couple?
a disclaimer.
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
And now, since we don't have an official review, I think Chad's going to lead us in a discussion of an update on his Holosun 507.
Oh yes.
Oh,
Well,
sweet. Let's go, Chad.
It came up with a problem.
Uh-oh.
And if you're watching the video, there's one on my phone. You can see this, and I'll see if I can get it to play. And you'll see the
You broke
dot.
it.
Yeah, you'll see the dot. It goes away. Yeah, and then it comes back.
Magic disappearing dot.
I know. Yep. But it's weird. Just you like drop the slide forward, it disappears, and then it comes back. It's magic.
In the training world, they call that muscle confusion.
Nice.
So I contacted him and I sent it back. So we'll see.
In
We'll
the
see
world of
what's,
cartoons, it's called disappearing, reappearing ink.
Mhm.
yeah. And it doesn't just do it with the dot, it'll do it with the circle dot and all the other reticles. So
The disappearing, reappearing dot. Isn't that
I
lovely?
guess I broke it. I'm not a Marine, but I guess I broke it.
Now, did you buy that one, or did they send that to you for T&E?
They sent it to me for T&E and then I purchased it.
Okay.
So either way they did. But yeah, they're like, yeah, well, they're like, send it in. They sent a shipping label. I printed it out and shipped it back, and that was a few days ago.
The shipping label's actually nice because I had a vortex scope break on me, and I paid shipping to them, but they shipped a new one back.
Right. Yeah, I was just gonna box it up in a box and ship it to them, and that little site doesn't weigh anything, so it's not like it costs anything to ship it to them. But no, they sent one. I was like, okay.
No, I had one of the big vortex hunting scope.
Yeah, that would cost a little more, but
Yeah.
still, shipping's not terrible.
No. So what is
So-
their standard warranty, just for giggles?
I think they
Is it
say
lifetime or?
I think it says a year.
Oh, okay.
And I probably have had it longer than that, but I really don't know. But in that case, they didn't even question it. They didn't say like, oh, when did you get this or anything. They just like, yeah, send it back. So I guess I'll find out. So now we're on to the product spotlight and discussion. And like we said, Ryan's here, but before I knew he was going to get here, I put his stuff last. So
Good.
is there any, do you need us to do it now, Ryan, or do you want, so you can skip out, or?
No, man. I'll let you do your thing, and
Okay.
then what you're doing is saving the best for last, and I can't blame you for that. So
Okay,
that's
okay.
good planning on your part.
Oh, my
I've been
gosh.
doing this long enough since you resigned that I'm starting to get the hang of it. So every 100 shows, I have a good one.
Nice.
Tonight's not that night.
Nope. First up is the Sol Invictus Arms Tac 9 with an MSRP of $705 or $824 with a brace. What this is basically it's a self-contained 9mm pistol that's kind of like an AR, but not quite. It does use Glock magazines. It is blowback operated 9mm. But it has an upper tubular housing that, has interchangeable rear trunnions. So I guess like if you SBR it, you can put a stock or for various other things, or a folder or etc. The recoil system is completely contained in the upper. So it is a side charging on the left side. Basically it's their PCC carbine. You can get it with 3.5, 8.5, or 16-inch barrels. So the 16, of course, you could put a stock on it because it's rifle length. They say it weighs between 6 and 8 pounds. It is aluminum. Like we said, it uses Glock mags. I have no idea if it uses like standard AR triggers. It doesn't say anywhere. I just thought it, for PCC, their price isn't terrible. But I like the self-contained recoil system. The rest of it, I'm like, well, I'm not too keen on it myself. But that's kind of what I was thinking. Anybody else got anything on it?
To me, it was kind of obvious that they wanted to take features from an AR, features from a Glock, and features from a Tech 9 and combine them into whatever this is, right?
It does have a Tech 9-ish like look to the upper.
It does.
The 3-inch barrel, right? And the fact that the charging handle's on the left side and it's using a 9mm cartridge, like I went, okay, so you had AR parts. I just looked at it and went, if we're going to try to build the Tech 9 in 2019, this is what we get.
Right.
Yeah.
You get the Tac 9 and the A is replaced for AR instead of the E for whatever it was.
Right.
I just kind of wished it was like a 6-inch barrel length option. I think 8.5 is too long and 3.5 is too short.
That's what she said.
Man, well, it is. In fact,
we're going to come back to that several times tonight.
Yeah, I'm sure that'll happen.
Yeah, I think so.
But understand this 6-inch barrel length is coming from a dude that has a 4-inch barrel length.
I have a 4.5-inch barrel.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Don't short me on that half inch.
Don't short him that.
Don't short me on that half inch.
I didn't hear a thing you said.
Is it me? Does Sean sound like Kenny from South Park?
He did. He was kind of muffled. I guess we can go on.
Nice. I looked at it this way because it's just a new PCC. They threw a new design out. This is also the company that did the new AA-12 shotgun, so at least they're not scared to do different things. Might be good, might not. I mean, there is no standard PCC 9mm carbine out there, so grab anything out. It's not like there's a mil-spec one. So if you can find a company to make something like this, it seems, by reading everything they said, they make the entire thing, right?
Yeah, that's my understanding.
And like with everything, reliability is going to be the elephant in the room, and obviously none of us have any idea.
Yeah.
None of us have any trigger time on it, but I'm looking at it, and you want to replace the Tech 9. If this is going to be the 2019-2020 Tech 9, let's roll. Hey, let's do this.
Mm-hmm. What do you guys think about the price?
I think it's fair. I mean, it's not. Yeah, it's right in there where it probably should be.
Yeah, at least they didn't come on strong with like a $1,100, $1,200 price tag.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, where they really did a good job too is using Glock mags, because a lot of people do these 9mm things. They'll use their own proprietary mags, and then you can't find cheap magazines.
And also, they do 9, 40, 45, and 10mm.
Yeah, I was getting. I was going to get to that if you hadn't. So thanks.
So instead of my Tech 9, you get a Tech 45.
Yep, or a Tech 10.
Can I call it a Mech 10?
No, it's a Tech 10.
Actually, that Tech 45 with the Glock magazine and the that extension that it makes, that'd be pretty neat.
What's the barrel length on the 45? Is it the same barrel lengths?
It doesn't say so, but I think it's the same. 3.5, 8.5, or 16.
I'll tell you like this: a 3.5-inch 45 with a can on the end of it.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Because it'd be super subsonic. Which super subsonic? That's okay.
The only thing it might not be subsonic with is like 185 grainers or something.
Yeah, you run some 230 ball, that thing will be quiet.
Oh yeah.
But the Chris Vector, that little extension they make for the 45 ACP magazines, that would be sweet.
So yeah, I mean, American manufacturer putting out something that looks to be high quality without having a price tag this ridiculous.
Melbourne.
It's also not hateful, right? And street price may come in a little bit lower than that. Like,
and
you hit
I've seen some,
and I'm thinking it's hot stuff.
Yeah, I've seen some of their AR uppers and lowers. I think Ryan has too. And they look decent. I mean, it's not like they're junk. So I'm assuming
you're shaking your head.
I'm assuming with these it's gonna be decent machining and parts. So
Ryan,
Hey, you think if I called them and said who I worked for, they'd know my internet fame and allow me to come for a factory tour?
go for it.
Go for it.
Go for
Ryan,
it. Why not?
You guys are throwing around words like high quality and decently made, and it's just like, oh god, the cringe.
Okay, so tell me
what's
about the
up?
9mm that Grey Ghost makes.
I can't.
Ryan,
That's
pistol.
proprietary information.
For hood rat stuff. That's what I'm looking at.
Yeah, exactly. This is obviously meant to be the affordable market. Hopefully, street price, you can get this thing for like, $600 somewhere in there. Great. I mean, if you wanted to get in, unfortunately, a lot of people that are getting into the PCC world, they are kind of, well, we're just changing the caliber. We'll charge as much, if not more, than our standard 5.56 variants. So, while I don't agree that you should spend $1,200 on a 9mm, I just looking at the picture, it worries me. I mean, being taking pictures of firearms for the last 2 years now, I mean, I'm just seeing things that just scream lower quality. Now, I'm not saying it won't run like a champ. I hope it does, and I hope that it really gives you that value. But I mean, I'm seeing just the edges, and I don't like the exposed screws right there on the receiver. It looks like a DIY homebrew gun, like end of times you made this in your basement.
Yeah, well, I think this is designed to be a toy. I don't think this is designed for competition or home defense. At least I would use it for either one of those.
But the picture of the lady, she has a tress rig on and gloves.
He's got a point.
American flag draped over her shirt, her back.
He's got a point.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just saying, man. I mean, isn't she a soldier? She's wearing baklava around her neck.
She's got Oakley operator gloves on.
Well,
yeah, and it's got the hard knuckles too, right?
I mean, if she had some Magpul stuff on, she might be able to,
maybe that's why I don't like this. It doesn't have anything Magpul on it. That's why I'm not a fan of it. It doesn't have a Mo grip or a Myad. It doesn't have. Well, it's got key mod. There's another problem. Two key mod slots though, so if you're not a fan of key mod, don't worry, there's only 2 key mod holes on the left and right side.
Nice.
Well, it doesn't matter because you're probably not going to mount anything to that kind of pistol anyway. It would be my guess.
I'm looking at this as either a range toy or it looks like the Mac 10, dude. You play with it. I mean, it's a range toy, whatever.
Yeah.
You're not mounting, like you said. You're not mounting anything on the 3.5 inch version. Trust the guy who has a 4.5 inch. You ain't mounting nothing to it.
Humble brag.
I wonder if you could drop one of those binary triggers in it.
We'll see, and we don't know. It
and we don't know what trigger it uses either.
Yeah, if it's
I'm going to say that's an AR trigger.
I mean, to take what Zane said earlier, 45 with a can and a binary trigger would be fun.
Yeah.
Their website needs work. At least going through my phone, their website needs work.
It needs work too. If they had somebody like Ryan Cross to do their website, it'd be much better.
Oh, I don't know if they could afford me. It at least costs 2 AA12s to hire me to do this website.
Yeah,
you can send those. I'll put my address in the show notes. You can send those directly to my address.
I'm willing to do it for 6 Tac. So.
I'm looking at the AA12 gallery, and obviously they can't afford Ryan Cross because this poor Asian girl couldn't even get a shirt for the photo shoot. She's just in a sports bra. So
that's terrible. Which photo is that exactly? There's just so many. Which photo is that?
Go to the gallery.
Now I see.
Okay,
that's not proper range attire.
Well, it depends on the range you're going to.
Well,
Coyote Ugly has a range.
Who's that girl? Hey, they make a fix for that. They have a fix for that. That
Yes,
dust
the-
cover bib thing.
The
Like
bra bib or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Shout
Yeah,
out to
yeah.
American Gun Chick.
Yeah. Is
Okay.
it chick or chick?
Or chic.
Yeah, American Gun Chick.
Chick.
Yeah,
Yeah,
nice lady.
okay.
Hung out with her for 2 days at NRA. Real down to earth girl.
Well, that's good to know. So now that we pretty much have gone into what we
Derailed?
think of the Tac 9, yeah, we'll get into the Timber Creek MSREP stock, which
Oh, yeah.
stands for Mil Spec Receiver Extension Plate. And with an MSRP of $69.99, what this is a kind of a shoulder piece that goes on your mil spec or carbine buffer tube to give you a stock like piece to rest it against. You can get it in it's aluminum anodized. You can get it in a bunch of different colors, but I just threw it in here, and luckily for us, both Sean and Tony have seen these or have one to tell us about.
Guess I'm chopped liver.
Yeah, because I was there with Zane.
No,
Well,
you just
Zane,
chopped
do
suey,
you
Zane.
have one, Zane?
I don't have one, but I have seen it and played with it.
Right. Okay. Well, Tony has one.
So I'll start off with this. I'm a Timber Creek dealer, and I'm in pretty deep on Timber Creek. Like, I like their stuff 99% of the time. Here's the 1%. And I'll lay out exactly why. Usually they score pretty high with me on style points. Like, their stuff works well, is lightweight, and looks good. This is none of those things. And I had this conversation with Matt Tiller, who's one of the owners of the company, back at Great American Outdoor Show. And I even told my rep, Matt, when he first sent me pictures of the prototype, I was like, yeah, it's a no from me, dog. Having used similar products from other manufacturers, the bottom line is this adds nothing as far as length of pull to the receiver extension or buffer tube. So unless you got arms like a T-Rex or you're building a gun for a child, this thing is going to be way too short to be usable for most adults. The other thing is, it really departs from my expectations from Timber Creek of making really good looking stuff. This thing's ugly. So I don't know who they gave a turn at the machine, but this is a dog as far as I'm concerned, and I was thoroughly disappointed. And that's kind of the long and short of it as far as I'm concerned. Neat concept as far as like a simple bolt-on stock. And like I said, there's other manufacturers that have similar products out there. I don't like theirs either. There's one exception that I'm not going to go into because I don't want to go too far into the weeds on this. But that one adds 2 inches to the buffer tube. So you get a reasonable length of pull. And no matter what Zane tells you or tells his ex-girlfriends, size matters.
I do
that extra
have
2
one.
inches makes a big difference.
Yes.
If you know what I mean.
I was gonna throw one question to you guys. Do you think this would be useful if you had body armor on? Do you think it would give you enough of a length of pull?
No.
Okay. That was my only question.
Basically, you're taking your standard tube and you're putting your stock at the end of your tube, you know?
When I wear body armor, which I don't anymore, but I only collapse the stock in one notch. I run my stock all the way out without it, and I'm a little guy. I'm kind of right there with Sean, except for I'm right there with Sean, except for I don't think it looks terrible. But all the rest of it, yeah, absolutely. It's just not usable. If this were a brace and not a stock, I could maybe see some usability for like building something really short and lightweight. But yeah, it just misses them. It's a no from me, dog.
Yeah, if you're planning on putting this to your shoulder, it's not going to work out the way you want it to.
Yeah, and I could actually see how turning it into a brace, from the manufacturer, not by yourself.
Yeah, no,
they could do it fairly easily, I think, and make it look the same. And then I could see it better as, as
twist the
plate.
foot of it.
Yeah, I talked to him in the booth, and I was
This-
like, you could like ditch this little part out and throw a strap on this, and it would probably be more usable.
Yeah.
Now, for me, I'm looking at it because I run a really short stock on my dissipator, the Leo entry stock from Rock River. It's short. Everybody hates it to try to shoot it. So I called Matt up and I told him that I was going to have this on the show. And I was like, yo, dude, I was really excited about this. And then I talked to Sean, and Sean was like, yeah, it's the same length of pull as that entry stock. It's too short for most people except Angelo. And myself, because I know what I was getting into. What was that?
It was even too short for Angelo, right? Because what is it? Battle Arms Development makes one. I forget the manufacturer,
Yeah.
but it's a similar design from another manufacturer, and that was the problem he had. And I guess we're going to name drop at this point, but the one I like is from Lead Star Arms, because it adds that length of pull. It makes it a serviceable fixed stock, and if I think this is where it kind of shines in a state like New Jersey, where you're not allowed to have a collapsible stock, but everybody's using the conveniently available parts of mil-spec buffer tubes and then having the pin stocks. This gets you away from that, right? You can clamp this type of stock on, run the gun, and then when you go to a free state, you're not doing major modifications. You're just unbolting that one and then throwing a regular collapsible stock on there, or the collapsible stock of your choice, and you're getting away with it in a free state. The problem is really, to me, the usability of something so extremely short that you're not getting the proper purchase either against your shoulder or against your face. Like it's a fail. And I told this to Matt before the product dropped. And when I saw it, it confirmed my fears. Right. And I told Matt Tiller, who's, like I said, one of the owners of the company, I was like, if you do a slightly different version of this, it's going to kick butt. But this one just isn't doing it. Like it's not usable. And I guess there's enough people that like this concept. Maybe I must be wrong, right? And maybe it's my size is working against me. But to go back to your question about using it with body armor, unless you're wearing like a full-on padded Redman suit, you're not adding enough girth to your torso with regular plates, or even, the thicker plates with a trauma pad behind it, to justify something that short.
Gotcha.
Can you buy extended length of buffer tubes? I mean, I don't know. I've never looked into that.
There is one company that makes like
that'd be about the only thing this would make sense, because I've seen like the 3-gunners run similar butt plates to that, where it's just a straight butt plate that doesn't, without an adjustable stock.
Usually usually I think they're on a standard like A1 or A2 tube.
The only thing I could use to throw this a bone is if you're using a folding stock adapter like the Law Tactical folder, where that adapter is going to add some length.
Yeah, I can see that.
For the shortcoming of the stock.
Yeah, because it adds like an inch and a half.
Right.
Could you put a pad on this?
No.
Boy, that's going to hurt.
I mean, you could duct tape something on.
What's that?
Come on, man. If it's a 5.56.
Okay, Zane Jr.
Yeah, it's not going to hurt with a 5.56. Yeah, but here's the crazy thing. All of a sudden, I can't use this in Jersey the minute I put the law folder on the AR.
Right.
And I'm just talking about here, and because I'm from here, so I'll go ahead and be the voice of everything sucks in New Jersey. This would work well with the law folder. You're right, 100%. It will give you the ability to fold the stock in half and then flip it out and pretty much have the length of pull you actually need with this. But outside of that, hey, sorry, I have to co-sign on what Sean and Zane had to say about this product.
Yeah.
Having one in my hot little hands right now, I'm trying to figure out how I can still utilize it, because it was given to me by them at Timber Creek, and I'm just trying to figure out what build do I have to put it on.
Like I said, we're going to have to build a kid's rifle and make something so small that it's like a child size they are, right? And again, we're up against the limitations in New Jersey of, barrel length and all those other restrictions, but that shortened length of pull, I don't think is going to work for anyone over 10 years old.
Yeah, I agree with you guys completely.
Like a regular Keystone Cricket is almost the same length of pull as this now.
Yeah, and I've shot one of those. Yeah, it's just not. So next up is why we have Ryan here is the Grey Ghost Precision Mark II Billet AR-15 set with an MSRP of $399.
Oh, hold on. Let me just channel my inner shill. I feel it. Okay.
Oh, okay. Do you want me to go through this nice characteristics that you put on the website?
Yeah, if you'd like to read them. I mean, really,
sure.
I'm here to answer questions a little bit more in
I
depth.
know.
Obviously, there's a lot of information on the website.
Right, because unlike some other websites that don't put anything on there, this is your upper and lower AR-15 receivers, machines 7075 T6 aluminum, billet, so it's not like one of the forged ones. They cut it from a solid block. It does have an ambidextrous bolt release integrated into the lower receiver. They include the parts so that it comes with the,
Ambidextrous bolt release.
Yeah, ambidextrous bolt release. Ambidextrous, is that how we're supposed to say it? Oh, wait, he doesn't have this thing anymore. It's type 3 class 2 hard coat anodized. It says true black, so I don't know what that means, but Ryan might be able to tell us because I thought black was black. It does have tighter than mil-spec tolerances, which I believe. Critical tooling dimensions are held within plus or minus 1/1000th of an inch. It's M4 feed ramps because I don't know if you can find anything with that without those anymore, which I'm sure you can, and somebody will tell me about it. It does have a nylon tip tensioning screw to ensure solid fit between upper lower and maintain that for years to come after use. It functions with nearly all available AR-15 parts. The magwell is flared. It has pictogram safe and fire indicators. It is marked multi-caliber, so you can build it to whatever you want. It comes with the awesome Grey Ghost skull logo on the side and also on the top of the receiver. Let's see. I'm trying to do this and my stupid son's yelling in the other room. But either way,
reload, Daddy.
Yeah, it does. It does use a forward assist, or you can plug it whatever you want. But it is a forward assist upper. It has a larger, because it's billet. It's built in a larger trigger guard. I think that's about it. Let's see if there's anything I'm forgetting. So I guess I'll give it to you guys. I'm pretty sure I've seen these in person, like other people here, and they are really nice. That's what I can say about them. Oh, they are. It is a T marked upper. If anybody cares.
Can I start with a complaint?
Yes, because Ryan's here to yell at you,
and I want to take this up with Ryan directly.
Bring it.
You understand? You have ruined every other AR strip lower for me
because it's ambi.
Because of the freaking Cornerstone, and then seeing this thing at NRA, like I can't even look at other guns anymore because they all look like crap in comparison. I hate you, man.
Not sorry. Hashtag not sorry, bro.
So I'm over there, right? Talking to Ryan.
Is Tony dead or is it just me?
He was talking to Ryan. He ain't talking to nobody now.
Yeah, I think Tony's done frozen.
I think he dropped out here.
He did.
Uh-oh. Frag out.
Now, my one question is I know the quality, but, you have to sell me on the price, Ryan.
Well, it's not like I'm the marketing manager or anything, but I'll do my best. So, have you priced matched billet sets from anyone else on the marketplace?
Yes.
You?
Yes.
And where they usually fall where? Above $400?
No, they're like between $300 and $500.
It's about the range. So I feel like our MSRP is fair. It's $399, especially what you're getting. We are including the ambidextrous bolt release, hardware in the bag. We're also going to throw in the dust cover because we really like the looks of our receivers, and we would just hate it if you just took a ball peen hammer and a steel punch and you're trying to put in your dust cover. So we went ahead and installed that for you so that you can make sure that you don't get all kitchen table gunsmith on this receiver set.
So can you explain to me one thing?
Yes.
I have more problems putting a roll pin in the forward assist than I do putting a port door on it. So,
well, I could tell you that a little bit of care and patience goes a long way. There is no such thing as an impatient gunsmith. If you're in a hurry and you are just kind of going half-assed on things, you're going to cause an issue. So, but getting back to the receiver set. So the reason why we call them the Mark II, I'll get into that. So Gragos Precision, this is their first time that they're actually offering a billet set that you can buy and then build whatever rifle you want to, or pistol, from that set. Before, these billet sets were used to build their full Gragos Precision rifles. So this being the 5.56 AR-15, this would have been the GGP Light 5.56 or the GGP Dark 300 Blackout, which we don't offer anymore. But this is the first time that we're actually offering you the billet set that you can buy at a lower price tag than our full complete rifles and build it the way you want, because we understand the market and that everyone usually has a couple A2 grips in their junk drawers, a couple extra roll pins, and all it takes is that extra detent to go, you know what, I'm going to build me another one. So we wanted to bring that to the market for you guys. Obviously, one thing that we've been known for with our rifles and also down to our billet sets is tolerances. Tolerances is the name of the game when it comes to receiver sets from Gragos Precision. You don't want your upper and lower receiver to sound like a maraca when you shake it back and forth. Usually at like shows, we do what we call like the Dairy Queen Blizzard Challenge. Is we'll actually just hold it by the trigger guard, and the upper and lower, when you shake it, they won't come apart because the tolerances between the lugs, the upper and the lower, are so tight that friction fit, it's not going to wobble loose and you're going to drop your upper receiver on the ground when you're holding your rifle up, or your receiver set upside down by the trigger guard. Kind of like when you order at Blizzard a DQ when they have to show it to you upside down or else you get it for free. I think that's a thing. I don't know. They do it every time I go in for one. So
if you don't show it to us upside down, do we get it for free?
I think I might make that a thing. It's good marketing. It's hard to beat that.
Yeah, so, I mean, it really is. Just watch out for Dairy Queen.
Right.
I'm going to kick him in the shin before he gets a chance to and be like, he didn't do it. Give it to me.
So another thing too is obviously each one of us here, I think, has pieced together a rifle in their time. You take the barrel and you just kind of can hand push it into the upper receiver until you get that index pin right where you need it to be. The way we tightened our tolerances, you cannot push that in there by hand. You have to apply lubrication and some generous heat in order to install your barrel into our billet upper receiver. And the reason why we do that is obviously that's where your accuracy is going to be affected the most, is the relationship between that upper receiver and where it holds on to that barrel. So we've tightened that to where you really have to lube, heat, and press fit that thing. You don't need a barrel press necessarily. You just need to install it properly. And that's really where our DNA comes from. You know, if you're familiar with Mega Arms, that's Mega Arms quality. That's what they were known for, tight tolerances and all their critical tooling. That's in GGP's DNA today. So this barrel right here, I had to, like I said, put on a little grease, get out the wife's hairdryer, heat that dude up, and then slowly slide that in there into position. And then honestly, I mean, I could use this as a deadly weapon and smack you with it without the barrel nut installed, and it ain't going nowhere. This is one solid piece.
As you were doing your Dairy Queen thing, and I was like, he's got a barrel in that with no barrel nut on it. Like, don't do that, dude.
Don't need it right now.
Right.
Granted, I apologize. This build is very much in progress. I didn't install a barrel nut yet because GGP is actually, we've got our new handguards coming out. I didn't want to bother throwing a standard barrel nut on there when I'm just going to have to take it off. But it's a great illustrating my point in that, I mean, I cannot separate these two by my mere hands. It's just the way it is.
I noticed you got a bad lever on there already.
So I put the bad lever on there as an illustration because obviously you put the Magpul bad lever on here so that you would have an ambidextrous bolt release somewhat. You don't need that because we have our ambidextrous bolt release built in. So it does come disassembled. It's going to come in a little baggy. It'll come with the springs and the detents you need to install it. And I did make sure there's a little card you get in there on how to install it. We've got a video on the website, but you don't need the Magpul bad lever anymore since we include that on all of our receivers, both the AR-15 set and the AR-10 set. In case you didn't know, you're drooling over this AR-15 set. We also make it in a bigger brother flavor, the AR-10, in case you want to build a 308, a 6.5 Creedmoor, or anything based on that.
So on your AR-10 version, what pattern parts does it use?
As far as like your DPMS Gen
Yes.
1 and the rail height is high.
Do you guys say that on the website? I didn't go look. So
you know, I should have put that on there recently because we've been getting that question a little bit more frequently.
okay.
So I do the website for Grey Ghost Precision. So if there's anything you see, you can holler at me because that's probably my department.
But of course, if you just email, what is it, like sales or something, service at Grey Ghost or sales at Grey Ghost?
Yeah,
probably
it'll
get to you.
eventually get to me if it has to do with a website thing. So obviously you can build this into a billet pistol, which is exactly what I'm doing right now. I have the SBA3 brace on here. One of my preferred pistol braces out on the market right now because it's adjustable. Screw you, ATF. I mean, really, we love you. You know, don't audit us, please. You'll also notice that, ironically, I do have a Timber Creek mag release button right there. They do make some, if you want like to color code your controls because you work for a company that's got gray in their name, well, by golly, they've got some gray Cerakote controls already available, so you can drop those in. That's pretty cool.
Is that the tungsten or the urban gray?
Tungsten.
Very good.
Yeah.
See, you get bonuses here when Ryan comes on. He even shows you products built in Oregon, not just Washington.
And all of a sudden, there's a lot more value to this program.
Yep. So I'm showing you right now the Grey Ghost Precision billet upper and lower set. But you might be thinking to yourself, man, I've got a lot of regular forged uppers. How will they look on that billet lower? Well, I'm prepared to show you today with my visual aids.
Right. It's like he does this for a living.
I know. So I'm gonna pop out the rear pin first, because that's the pin you should always do first. And then remove the front pin and then just kind of hinge it forward. And that's really the only way that I can get these to come apart because they are really that tight toleranced. So
you mean the takedown and the pivot pin?
Yes. Sorry. I call them both the same thing, but they are technically two different names. So there's a look at the inside guts a little bit. So, I mean, we take micrometers and we measure. We take micrometers and we measure the gaps. We mind the gap. We make sure that everything we produce is of absolute precision, thus the name Grey Ghost Precision. So I just happen to have an Aero Precision upper right here that I've also put together. This is my 300 Blackout pseudo Dissy. It's a 12.5 inch kind of a weird dissipator mount. I had a weird inkling to do, but it's a great visual aid because this is what I would consider a fairly budget-minded upper receiver that you might have a couple uppers built in, and you want to make sure, obviously, that it looks good on whatever billet lower you purchase. See, I broke my own rule. I put in the rear first.
I saw that.
The front first.
Hey now.
There we go. So that is what a just regular forged upper looks like on the billet lower. So you still get the advantages of having those tight tolerances, even though the tolerances aren't necessarily messed with. It's generally mil spec when you get like an Arrow upper or any other manufacturer's upper. I don't mean to pick on Arrow. It's just the upper that I had handy for this demonstration.
It still looks nice on there. It's not like it. Of course, yours looks better because it's a match set, but a standard upper doesn't look bad on there.
Nope. It does not. And that's something that we wanted to make sure is that, say you wanted to build a 223 using the billet upper that you receive in the set. However, you have a 300 blackout or a 22 something or a 224 Valkyrie on another upper. We wanted to make sure that it still looked and performed well on the billet lower, which I think we've achieved. So,
yep. Nice.
Yeah,
So,
the tolerances were the first thing I noticed when I picked it up at NRA. I was like, oh, there's no pins in this, but it's not coming apart.
yeah, I mean, it'll almost feel like they're like, you'd swear they're JB welded on the inside. You're like, why aren't these coming apart?
It's almost like puzzle pieces. Like they fit together like puzzle pieces. They snap in. They don't snap into place, but they fit.
Yeah.
Correctly.
Yeah. Well, generally with everyone's forgings or maybe even their billet receiver, they're still trying to adhere to certain open tolerances that's generally accepted in the industry. It's to be compatible with everything that's mil spec. Hopefully you guys know that mil spec is not the same as, high quality tight tolerance. It's just the specification that the military said, you know what? ARs and M16s should be about these measurements. That's their spec, the mil
there's
spec.
There's generous tolerances built into mil spec.
Right.
Exactly.
And that's because they have various manufacturers making parts for them so that they can take literally a barrel from one company and throw it on an action from somebody else.
That's the intent. You can take all the parts, drop them into bins, and just start grabbing parts out of bins and build rifles and get them out to the troops.
Right.
And for comparison, when we're talking about the price, I just typed in match billet set receiver on Google. First one that pops up, $445. Next one is $495. The next one's $600. So those were just the top three that came up.
So compared to those, this is a
Yeah,
And I typed match billet receiver set. So, there are cheaper ones, but those are the first three that popped up. So
nice.
So until that Anderson billet set comes out, which I don't know when that's going to be, but that'll definitely.
I wasn't going to say it once we went live, but
but then you got to get that offset buffer retainer pin to go with it. I mean, that's
an adjustable pin to
if
make
the
it
forged is the poverty pony, what's the billet set? Like the middle class pony? Like moving on up to the east side pony? Like, well, what would you call that?
Well, and the plastic ones are like the high point, the low end.
Yeah, that's what that is.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I thank you very much, Ryan, for coming on and telling us about this, because you know way more about this particular set than we do. Even though we've seen them. What was that, Sean?
I have more questions.
Well, ask them.
If you chose to do the ambidextrous bolt stop, why not do the ambidextrous mag release as well?
I'm wondering if there's a specific reason why we chose not to do that. For a while there, we were very lefty conscious because our VP was a lefty, so that kind of went towards making sure that everything we did included that. I'm sure I think there is a couple companies, I can't remember off the top of my head because I've had a customer ask me this question, is how do I install a left-handed or an ambi mag release? And there is one manufacturer that we recommend. However, I cannot for the life of me remember who they are. If I remember in the next couple days, I'll maybe add it to the show notes or send it over to Chad.
Yeah,
I know Troy makes one.
Yeah. I'll have to dig through my emails and find that. We wanted to make sure that the bolt release was there. As far as the mag release goes, it's not truly ambi, but I think there was this very specific engineering reason why we didn't do both. I just can't come up with the answer. So you got me stumped on that one.
Okay. And then you're using what to hold that bolt release in place? Is it a screw? Is it a roll pin? Is it a solid pin?
Yeah, there's like a threaded detent pin and a plunger in there. The specific verbiage is escaping me right now, but it's see, do I have it on the box? I happen to have the box here because I know the guy who designs all their packaging too.
He's pretty useless, right?
Yeah, most of the time. So the specific verbiage on the ambidextrous bolt release components are escaping me, but it does come with the plunge. I would call it a plunger, just based on
like a spring plunger.
My little knowledge.
As far as the standard size goes, right? You've got the spring, the plunger, and then
I got you right here, buddy.
But what I'm asking about is the pin that retains it.
So inside the box, I just opened it up. I remembered that I actually took pictures of and designed an instruction card, 2-sided for the AR-10 set and the AR-15 set. So I've got your answers right here. So the components that you receive to install that is, of course, the ambi bolt release. You get a bolt release buffer spring, a bolt release threaded pin, an ambi rod, a bolt catch buffer spring, and a bolt catch threaded pin. So that's just to make sure that there's a specific order to install these, and that's why we took the liberty of taking photos and numbering the steps so that you installed them in the correct order so that everything functioned properly. So that's everything that you get. Like
so
I
you
said,
made it idiot proof.
Yeah.
So I'll screw it up.
Springs, rods, and threaded pins. But it's literally just 4 steps on this card. Don't get intimidated, folks. I know you can do it because I've done it myself, and I'm by no means a master engineer and armorer, so you can definitely do it. And I don't think any tools are really involved. No, I think if anything, you might need a 1/16 Allen key just to install the threaded pin, the bolt release threaded pin. That's all you need.
Yeah, that's what I was asking about. That threaded pin is rad. Like that's the best way to do it, because what Chad was talking about earlier, drifting in that roll pin being the hardest part of assembling the AR lower. You need a third hand to do that, because you're trying to hold the thing up, hold that in place, and then hold the punch and the hammer to hammer that in. Where this, you can just hand fit that all together and then screw it in and it's done.
Yep, that is pretty cool, because I know exactly. Yep, that is. Any more questions there, Sean?
That answers all of them. It makes me very happy. So I guess the only other thing I have is when are you gonna send me another sneaky text message about watch for an email on the match set?
Let's see.
We're on air.
May. I'm trying to think what we got coming up.
Mother's Day.
We usually try and plan. We don't really do a Mother's Day sale. If it is, it'll be something maybe like I have no idea what we have going on for Mother's Day, so I can't even speculate. But what I can tell you is usually there's like 3 big shows that we do, well, at least the ones that I go to, and that's why I consider them big. SHOT Show, NRA, and TriggerCon, which is a kind of like the NRA of the Pacific Northwest. Chad goes to it. He comes up here and we go to it together. We get bonding time.
Try to get free hugs.
Free hugs, yeah. So usually we'll do a sale during those events, and it also coincides with like a map holiday if you're a dealer. That way, when we offer our specific items at a lower cost and you're a dealer, it's not going to kind of burn you, because you can also lower your price on those at the same time. So it kind of works hand in hand. Sean knows about that.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Yeah, because when you guys put stuff on sale, you guys actually have pretty good sales. I mean, I get the emails.
They have amazing sales.
Yeah, and then it's like,
Yeah, we'll do
it's
like
only this
a
much?
free barrel with a slide. So we've done that with the SPG 43 slides. We've done those with the 17, 19 slides as well. Or we'll do like get a free slide when you buy a frame, or free barrel when you get a frame. We have serialized frames, 17 and 19 size Glock frames, but GGP style. I'm actually going to give you guys a coupon code off the top of my head that I know is still active, and I believe it's 15% off. This was the code that we had during the NRA show in Indianapolis. So the coupon code is INDY, INDY, and that should get you 15% off your orders. And I think I made that good till at least the end of August, so you should be good to go. I don't think it matters, but you can do it. You'll know if it works because you'll do it in your checkout process, and then you'll see that amount come off.
Okay. Awesome.
Yeah.
Yes, we thank you for that. Well,
thank you for having me on and talking about something near and dear to my heart. I don't get free guns from work, just to make that clear. So the fact that I have a billet set and that I'm currently building on it, I paid for that. It might not have been an MSRP, but I still paid for it because I really believe in this product. So that's why when we're talking about any other receivers and talking about quality, like my perspective of quality has drastically changed since I got this job. So just kind of like what you see that actually goes into engineering of firearms and people who care about tolerances, pretty soon all of a sudden you can spot like, wow, I bet that thing's sloppy, or I understand the whole like range toy aspect, but I'm starting to kind of mature in my firearms ownership, my gun entrepreneurship, and that I don't really have many range toys anymore. I consider them all, somewhat defensive capable firearms.
Yep. Awesome. Are you going to stick around through all this other stuff for us? Or you
let me see what you guys. Is there anything interesting and worth my time? Ooh, listener feedback. I'd love to stick around and listen to listener feedback with you guys.
Okay. The only reason I ask is I was going to say at the end, then we lost Tony for some reasons, but I'll let you get a word in and tell us where we can find you, along with all the other bags and packs and stuff you guys make.
Sweet.
So, listener feedback. These both came in email. One of them I lost, and he resent it because he's a nice guy like that. And it's kind of directed more at Tony, but he's gone. So maybe Sean can help us. So this is from Steve. It says, great show, especially when someone does something that week in guns, which you guys did do. This show is a staple in weekly podcast routine. I have a question for Tony. I have a Glenfield Model 60 I am replacing the broken stock on. I have purchased an HT60 tactical Marlin stock for it. The stock comes as a kit. When I assemble this, can I use the telescoping stock, or must I fix the position? Likewise, can I assemble an adjustable pistol grip, or must I leave it off? The rifle has a fixed 18-round magazine, which is legal in New Jersey, but as I understand it, exempts it from being restricted. Love the product reviews. Keep up the great work. Sean, do you have any idea, or should I just?
It would be in poor form for me to give legal advice on something like that. But my understanding is because it's a fixed magazine, that precludes him from being part of the New Jersey assault weapons ban, which is what I assume we're talking about, because he never actually says New Jersey assault weapons ban. So with that assumption, this is not legal advice. I'm not an attorney. Please consult your attorney. But my understanding is because you do not meet the prerequisite of a general description of an assault weapon in the state of New Jersey of having a semi-automatic rifle with a detachable magazine, blah, 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 you're within compliance because of the fixed magazine characteristic of that rifle. However, if you join, U.S. Law Shield, you then have access to real attorneys who can answer those questions for just a nominal fee each month. I would suggest you do that because that's certainly cheaper than having to pay for an hour of a lawyer's time.
Yep. And I bugged the mess out of them.
I co-signed what Sean just said. This is about that tube-fed marlin, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yep. Yeah, I have a storm over my house, so it just knocked everything out. Yeah, I'd read that, and I was going to say the exact same thing Sean did. I can't give you legal advice, but that doesn't, from layman's terms, doesn't meet any of the requirements of an assault rifle. But do what Sean
Yeah.
says and get actual legal advice.
Exactly. Well, thank you guys for answering that because, of course, the rest of us have no clue. Uh, next up is Brennick. He says, "Hey guys, love the show." This is weird worded, but I was wanted to offer some feedback, a suggestion, and a question. After discussing a product or a review before moving on to the next topic, could you possibly mention the name of the product again? Mentioning it up front is helpful, but until you discuss it, I may not know if it interests me. Of course, if it does, by then I forgot which product you were discussing. Okay, that makes sense. That's not I can see that. I mean, you
That's
know, if they're
fair.
anything like and if they're anything like me, I forget crap.
But
Reasonable
you can always
format
go
request.
to you can always go to the website, check the show notes. But that is fair criticism.
Yes. Next up, also, I would love it if you would consider discussing some of the firearms, especially pistols, that show up in deals posted on Reddit's Gun Deals or Gun Deals since the last show. I am always looking to hear good, unbiased decisions about what is showing up in the deals section and what pistols to keep my eye out for if deals show up again.
All
And-
handguns suck. Buy a rifle.
Yeah, you know, I kind of read into this. I'm like, you know, that's not a bad deal because, you know, certain things, you know, just look and pick one or something because, you know, even us on here and the listeners might be like, oh, that's a good deal. And it doesn't have to be from any of these places. And I mean, like Tony and his like CZ that he got for like dirt cheap or whatever it was, you know, stuff like that is just great. So yeah, I might see if we can work that in somewhere.
I mean, the problem is
then
going to
hook them
be
up for advertising.
how long that deal lasts too, because by the time you find the deal, it might not be current by the
Right,
time.
because
share it.
we record on Tuesdays and it releases on Friday, and yeah, there is that.
Well, here's the thing. I go on gun deals all the time. I'm on our AIM Surplus all the time. I mean, we can talk about some places where you can actually go and they have things like that, police trade-ins and whatnot, because that's what I look at. And as far as good things to buy, I mean, I can throw it out right now. Police trade-in Glocks, police trade-in Smith & Wesson M&Ps. Right now, they have a deal going on, AIM Surplus for $449 for trade-in USPs, HK USPs. So, I mean, it's
Yeah,
if you're a dude
I can't
like
remember
me,
the website, but I found police trade-in Glock 22s today, which is 40 cal, so meh. But they were $299, so I'm like,
Yeah, but for like $100,
Yeah.
$130, you can buy a conversion barrel.
exactly. And
Yeah,
even then,
both.
like if you
Great
just
way
need
to
a cheap,
start.
if you need a cheap self-defense gun, 40's fine.
Oh
I
yeah,
just prefer it'll do the job just fine. So
Might be a decent starter project to upgrade to a Grey Ghost Precision slide and barrel set.
might be.
look at that.
Sean knows how to do
professional.
this.
Ryan,
Sean knows how
make
to
the
do
check
this.
out to Black Bag Resources. And
So, and it says, finally, what pistol would you start off with for a newer shooter just looking to shoot some 9mm at the range? I
Glock
rented
19.
just about everything at the range multiple times, but came away less sure than when I went in. I have bought a safe, the range membership, and 1,000 rounds of 9mm, but I still can't decide on what pistol to start with for now. I keep finding myself drawn to the cheaper guns like the Grand Power K100 or the
Don't do
Bersa
it.
TRP9.
nope.
But I
Definitely
wonder
don't
if
do it.
my first
Don't do
gun,
it.
if I'm better off picking up the VP9 or Beretta 92 A1 or M9 A1 for $500 to start.
No,
Find
you
a
know-
gun that'll fit your hand and shoot it.
Yeah, the VP9 and the 92, those are two drastically different. I mean, you're talking about striker
Yes.
fire and
Hammer fire.
yeah. So really, what you ought to do is, sounds like you might have done before. Go to the range where they let you rent you might pay a flat price to rent everything in the same caliber. Shoot all the 9mm they have available to rent. And if you like one, find yourself going back and, let me try that one again. And that'll kind of let you know what fits your hand best. Maybe Glocks don't fit your hand well. Everyone's going to tell you Glock 19, Glock 19, Glock 19, but it might not fit your own hand better. However, you might find like that one of the cars fit your hand really good, and you were shooting really good groups with it. That's kind of how you figure out what's best for you.
Yeah, and at that price point where he's talking about around $500, I mean, you can get that really
everything.
You can get a quality hand 9mm for $500.
So you want to look at Glocks, you want to look at the M&P series, you want to look at CZ has several. They got the P10 series and then the P0 series.
And the VP9 is a good gun.
Not bad.
Sleep on the CZ75, man. By far one of the most accurate 9mm pistols I've ever shot.
Yeah, no, not a bad
Very
gun at
much
all. FN makes some good 9mm guns.
The reason I went with Glock 19 or Glock 19 size guns is simple. You never know when you start out where you're going to end up. So I'd go ahead and say start out with something that not only can you use as a range gun, can you use as a self-defense gun, as in for the home, but also it's sized enough, depends on your size, you can use it for a carry gun. So even if you change from range gun where you fired 1,000 rounds to training to anything else, you got a gun that's pretty much the perfect size. That's what Glock 19 is, that size gun. So yeah, with VP9, with just all these things we just talked about, they all fall in the same price point. So find some premium ones, and I'm talking about the top 5 or 6. Don't spend all day shooting 20-something guns. Yeah, no, it's okay. You don't need to shoot the Barca. You don't really need to jump on the Canic, because you have more quality guns. You're already dedicated $500 to it, so let's get in that $500 price point and start swinging there. You know what I mean?
And honestly, we just talked about police trade-ins, and while the 40s are a dime a dozen, you can find police trade-in 9s for the $400, $420 price range.
And I was gonna say that too, because like you find a police trade-in 9mm, okay,
yeah,
great. Well, if you're buying a used gun, you're actually, if you don't like it, you can probably turn around and sell it for probably about what you paid.
Oh, and here's a pro tip about police trade-ins. They got holster wear on them. They don't get shot that much. They're not worn out.
Yeah.
They also get arsenal reworked or armory reworked for the most part. And the reason I say go with the top 5 or so is because they're going to have holsters. They're going to have accessories. They're going to have people that know how to work on them commonly. So even if you have something wrong with it or just want to get it checked over, you can go to your local gunsmith and get that taken care of with a Glock, with the Smith & Wesson, with some of the brand name stuff that cops actually get issued. When you start going down the Bursa road, when you start even going down the Canic road, even though YouTube is all over, everybody has one, but nobody really works on those in the regular gun shop.
Yep.
So beware of that.
Okay. Anything else he should avoid?
Yes, there is something else he should avoid. Sean, I'm glad you brought that up. Avoid anything Springfield. I'll go ahead and say it because that's what I like to do.
Thank you.
Notice there's not a major metropolitan police department in the country that issues them, and that's for a reason.
Yeah, I mean, I'll go ahead and co-sign onto that if I have a choice, and we always talk about it. I go into the store. Springfield is not on my list of pistols to check out. It's just not.
I mean, is this going to just turn into a pistol bashing? Because I can get in on this.
Tony, I'm surprised you didn't say High Point.
What about, no, you got $500 to spend. Why on earth would you buy a High Point?
Because you can buy 4 of them.
Yeah.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah, he said he wants to go to the range, not work out.
Well, you can do both at the same time.
That's true. New York reloads with the High Point on that.
3 High Points or 2 Skies or
yeah.
No, you're already past that. What else, Ryan? What else should he avoid?
I mean, there's a couple Brazilian companies that come to mind that I probably wouldn't recommend.
Said that one.
You did? Okay.
I mean, I'd take a High Point over that Brazilian company.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Is it a astrological sign?
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
You
Yeah.
can just say Taurus. I don't know why we're.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, what's the
It's true.
astrological sign? It's a freaking bull, dude.
They,
Um,
they
This
haven't
guy is asking for.
sued you yet, so I'm assuming you can just
Or
throw
sued.
that name out there.
Yeah, no, he's
All right.
asking for advice on a first gun. So dropping hints isn't going to help. You got to tell him. You guys don't like Taurus,
No.
right? Okay.
yeah, not
No,
really
I like
something.
Tauruses. They
Again,
just don't like to work.
price point wise, you're past the Taurus. Let's get that right over. You can probably CZs, those P10 series works. You got the Smith & Wesson, you've got the Glock. What else we're talking, guys?
Is there anything anybody would
F10.
recommend from Ruger?
No, not in semi-auto.
And not at that price
semi-auto,
point.
not semi-auto centerfire.
You're past the price point of Ruger again. You're
Yeah,
past
yeah.
you're $500.
SR 1911, excuse me. Stopping power, hello.
Yeah, 2 World Wars.
Two World Wars.
You
Two
gotta
World
put
Wars.
it in
Not
the
win world wars with the 9mm 1911. It says
Oh,
9mm.
I'll go ahead and tell you something a little out there. I don't recommend it, but it's out there. Steyr.
Yeah, it's
the
a good
Steyr
pistol
M9.
though.
No experience.
is a-
No one said Walther. And not
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
avoid. Check them out.
Yeah,
Walther makes
the-
decent stuff.
Yeah, especially the like PPS M2s and
What was that other one?
PPQs,
Again,
and
PPQ.
whatever they are. Yeah,
The PPQ is one of the underrated guns. Everybody started jumping on the CZ bandwagon. PPQ didn't stay out there long, but yeah, it's another one that's underrated. But a lot of people have a lot of trigger time on it. I recommend a PPQ over a Glock 19 just based because it's built better, I feel.
Yeah.
I actually recommend it over the VP9.
Nice grip.
Nicer grip, nicer texture. It fit my hand a lot better. I feel it has a better trigger than the VP9. And you can be the dude that's a little different with your Walther over in the corner.
Yeah, I didn't hate the VP9 or even a VP9 compact.
Yeah.
Like not awful, and certainly better than like USPs. But
Yeah.
yeah,
I would also try to avoid a Hudson H9.
Well,
well, at this point, they're out of his price range because he's still talking $500. Right?
Yeah.
So
Well,
now that they've
right,
gone to
They're getting
Koster
down in the
mode.
500s right now just because people are
Yeah.
trying to get rid of their pile of parts. I mean, their pistol.
But
no, they haven't
understand one
got their
thing.
pile of parts back.
He 1,000 rounds of 9 to shoot through it, and that's not going to happen with a Hudson.
Okay, well, we probably thoroughly confused this
Confused him.
guy.
Well, I mean, if I could circle back to the Glock 19, nobody's saying that it's the perfect pistol right out of the box, but why it's so popular is because if there's something you don't like specific about it, you can fix it. If you don't like the goalpost sights, you can easily swap them, and there's the largest aftermarket availability for the Glock platform. If you don't even like the frame, you can get something like, I don't know, a Gregos Precision Combat frame
Or
for
a
only
slide.
$169 MSRP. We just had them on sale for $100, and that changes the grip angle and then adds a bunch of cuts and extended beaver tails. So if your gripe was with the grip, you could replace that with an aftermarket part. Granted, I'm not recommending you don't go down a money pit hole here. I'm just saying that if you like certain aspects, but you wanted to change out the grip or the sights, you could do that very easily with a Glock 19 just based on all the aftermarket support that's out there for it.
yes,
Yeah,
Glock perfection, and that's why we have to change every single component.
Yeah, sadly,
Yeah.
that's the truth.
Well, the thing too, if you buy a Glock and you don't like it, they're fairly easy to sell in the used market.
I think the M&Ps are probably the same way.
Oh, and I'll go ahead and let's be honest about it. When you buy the names that we told you, it is easier to sell them than you're trying to get rid of your Bursa or you're trying to get rid of a Grand Power. Because one, you're going to take a hit, and two, it's just going to stay online for a really long time, and unless it's really, really at a low price.
Very
Don't ask me how I know, but you can move those 4 high points pretty quick too.
true.
Now, here to talk to us about high points is our own Tony Simon.
The unofficial spokesman.
Well, guess what, guys? June 14th, it's a Friday. We're having the next diversity shoot. And since I have the bullpup configured I'm going to have the bullpup configured high point done. You might want to come by and shoot it because it's going to look really cool. So again, June 14th, Second is for Everyone Diversity Shoot is going to be held at Gun for Hire Range in Woodland Park, New Jersey. I'll be having the tickets up on sale online on Eventbrite before the end of the week. You can come out, eat food, win prizes, hang out with really cool people, and shoot guns. Even if you've never shot a gun before. Yeah, we can hang out with Kenny from South Park. Understand, if you guys want to come out and like you had that guy pester your work all the time, hey, I'd really like to go to the range, and you know you don't know anything about the range except you go there to shoot your gun, bring them to our event. We'll introduce them to firearms. You have those anti-gun people that continually pester you, but they're willing to have an open mind and come to an event, bring them to our event. Ticket's going to be $20 plus tax. Come out. We want to see you. Again, Gun for Hire Range, Woodland Park, New Jersey. You want to help us fund this? Go to GoFundMe 284E. That'll get you donation. You can donate to us. I'm sorry. You want to become a patron on Patreon? You can do that and support the 284E podcast. Want one of my shirts? Go to 1022clothing.us. It's like 5'11", but for big dudes. That means we twice as big. Do the maths. All right, so that's that, and that's that. And I really appreciate you guys listening to me every week talk about this. Some of you probably already turned the show off. That's your loss because we're awesome.
Yeah, they're missing out because up next is Ryan to tell us all the places you can find him.
All right, I got a lot of plugs. I'll make it quick. Gray Ghost Precision, grayghostprecision.com. That's gray with an E, not an A. Doesn't matter. Both domains will get you to the same place because I'm that good. If you were looking to get a billet AR-15, AR-10 set, you really just want a nice billet rifle in 308, 6.5 Creedmoor, or 223-556. Or if you want to pimp out your Glock with a more functional and tighter tolerance slide that's going to make a both difference downrange and difference in your hand when you're shooting it, you can get our GGP 17 or 19 Gen 3 or Gen 4 version 1, 2, 3, or 4 pattern slides. We also have our own combat pistol. So it's basically its own slide milled for either an RMR or a Loophole Delta Point Pro. And you get our combat pistol frame. All of that available at grayghostprecision.com. If you're looking for some nylon gear to maybe carry your rifle in, whether it's a rifle case, a concealment bag, or apparition SBR bag, range bag, backpacks, wax canvas, nylon, you name it, Gray Ghost Gear has it. Minimalist plate carriers, level 3, level 4 body armor. I know I sound like I'm selling you a sham wow right now, but Gray Ghost Gear makes a lot of good stuff. If
you're going to love his nuts.
Okay, so if you're looking for something a little bit more professional, a little bit more high-end, something that's Berry compliant, that means it's made in the USA with Berry compliant materials, Tactical Tailor is where you want to go. For your rogue plate carrier or your fight light line, malice clips, rucksacks, anything that the soldier would need for their mission, you want to outfit your whole brigade, tacticaltailor.com. And lastly, as we mentioned at the top of the show, Patriot Patch Co. if you want all sorts of badass Pro 2A patches made by yours truly, patriotpatch.co. Boom. I dropped my mic, but it's attached to a stand, and I paid a lot of money for it, so I'm just going to set it down right there.
Boom goes the dynamite.
Yep. Well, thanks for showing up, Ryan. I appreciate it. It's nice to have you back once in a while. And I will see you in July.
I'm good for another 100 episodes. See you guys later.
Yep. Send questions, comments, or feedback to gungearreview@gmail.com. Remember to subscribe and leave us an iTunes review. Check out all the other great shows on the Firearms Radio Network at firearmsradio.tv. Be sure to visit the Firearms Insider. Check us out on Facebook and Instagram at Firearms Insider. And thank you for listening to the largest pound for pound podcast on the network. And we are out.
Bye, Felicia.
Really? Really?
Well, I forgot you was here. You can do it. Go ahead. Do it.
Gimmick infringement.
Do it.
You don't even do it right.
I'm going to turn this off.
Bye, Felicia.
I did it better.
You got to put some stuff on it.